What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Y'all know Rob, and we're
Sir.
yeah. Is this your replacement for Bobby and the boys while you're in season? You can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to navigate that stuff. Or really, like I'm trying, like I got teammates asking me, I'm trying like to get the content out, but it's hard to focus on content when you want to focus on, your
Yeah,
craft, making sure that you're doing well when you're going out there. So I mean, it's hard to manage, but as of right now, this is what we'll be going with. Me and Aiden are going to be mixing up on some things, different ideas, different people hopping on. It'll be fun. Either way, we'll just crossbreed the two, and it should be good content either way.
yeah. Of course. I mean, you guys know I've been having guys on for a couple of years. I got some guys that want to come on and talk, and obviously, Rob, you're in the space, so you got guys that you want to bring on and introduce and kind of cross into that space. So yeah. So obviously, we can't really set anything up like we're gonna get you. We can't say we're gonna get you something once a week because of scheduling.
Mhm.
But I think that's like the goal. We're gonna try and sit down once a week and film. I
Yeah,
would say,
try to sit down at least once a week on like a Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
yeah,
Thursday probably would be the one day that it wouldn't happen due to
yeah. You starting
starts the
Friday.
next day. So it'll usually be a Monday or a Wednesday, but you're gonna try to push out once
Yeah,
a
yeah. Push out one a week. Basically, we'll try and get it before the series on Fridays because
week.
when you're throwing Friday, you want people to see what you have to say before going into the series, and then you guys can watch the games and get it out there. But we're also gonna have people across the country coming on. I got guys all over that want to come on, and Rob, you got some guys in the big leagues and the minor leagues that want to come on and talk with us too. So I mean, but what a way to start it off. Just the two of us. We'll sit down and we'll talk about week one of college baseball. You started
Yeah,
Friday.
week one it was a crazy one around everywhere, honestly.
Yeah. But I mean, before we even get to that, so props to you, first of all. First D1 game. You
Yeah,
came in out of Chipotle, went to, pitch Georgia State on Friday starter, and you went out there. The game got delayed, what, three separate times?
yeah. I mean, it was a tough one. Kind of threw off the mental side for me, because I know at Chipola we had this similar situation where the game had gotten pushed back a couple times and it didn't go my way because honestly, those type of things are hard to mentally get yourself ready and locked in to go. So doing that, it was kind of like PTSD all over again. But
Hmm.
I kind of told myself, I was like, look, like, I'm here now, Friday night, opening night. Let's have some fun. Either way, doesn't matter when. I knew I was ready to pitch whenever it may have been, if it was the next day, if it was 5 hours later, and that was the mentality I had to have and able to do well.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember I was sitting there. I think it was like 2 o'clock. I'm waiting. I have ESPN Plus pulled up. And you texted me games at 6. I'm like, or games at 4. You were like games at 4. I was like, all right. Game was supposed to start at 3, and then you texted me games at 6. I was like, really? And then I turned on. I think you saw my story too. I turned on at 6, and it was like the ESPN Plus. This program is about to start. And
Yeah.
D1 baseball, nobody updates college baseball scores or start times on any of the apps. Even even D1 baseball, which
The thing is, those things because those updates don't start coming in until conference play starts playing when the
yeah,
games get a little more serious and they're not worried about the major teams playing the mid major teams. They don't really care.
yeah,
When this conference play and stuff like that, they start to update a little quicker.
of
But yeah,
course.
first week it was a get. It's all right. It happens. A lot of teams are playing. Every team's playing, so they got to be able to mismatch everything and fix everything at time.
Yeah, dude, I looked, I was like, really, no update, nothing. And I went on Twitter. I was like, I saw game will start shortly. I was like, all right, whatever. But people had DMing me because they were like, what happened? Game's supposed to start. What happened? Game don't start. Is your ESPN Plus broken? I think a couple people DM me that were trying to watch. Some of their boys. Trey DM me because he just got done with his game, and then he thought you were playing, and he saw my
Mm-hmm.
post because I said something to him too. Congratulated him. He got the opening day start. First of all,
Yeah,
shout out.
huge. That's both my boy Trey Phelps out of Georgia.
He'll
One of my
come on.
close dogs, my
Yeah,
friends. That he's gonna be something special when it comes his time for the draft. I think he's gonna do some big things for the dogs. And
yes,
it'll be fun to see. We play them tomorrow, so it'll be fun to link up with him on the field.
of course. Yeah, and he'll be on this soon. He actually, we were talking about that too. Maybe when I come down, we'll get a little
Yeah,
triple episode. Maybe because you have the stew in the apartment. Maybe we could.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, we
mean,
can work that up.
we could see something. Yeah, it's time to figure that out. But anyways, we'll get into your game now because you went out there, you threw 4 innings, shutout innings. What was that like? Because it was pouring rain, dude. I saw that, and they were saying something on the broadcast. I think it was one of the walks. It was like a 4 pitch walk, but it was like a planned 4 pitch walk. I think they were saying it, and then it looked like you were struggling gripping the ball in that rain. Like after that, I saw it. I mean, obviously, it makes sense. What
Yeah,
was
there
going through
were
your head?
definitely some times. There were definitely some times where the ball got a little, out of control. But you got to be able to go with the highs and lows of it. It happens, and
Yeah,
my mentality in that is, I'm going through it. The other pitcher's going through it. So what is it to complain about it? You know what I mean? So there were times where I get 2 quick outs and walk the third guy
exactly.
on 4 pitches, and it kind of is stressful because you're like, dang it, like you get that close to get out the inning, and you fluctuate and you start to miss high and low. But that comes with experience. First game out, I'm not worried about it. I know my stats will improve over time. Um, and that just comes with being comfortable, being out there all the time. Like when I got out there, it was kind of weird. I was like, dang, this is another team now. This isn't inter squad. You got to take up another notch. And that was kind of an issue. I never usually blow my load out, during starts early on.
Hmm.
But what I noticed what I was doing in that first game was blowing my load way too soon. I'm using way too much energy in the first through third inning. The fourth inning, I'm already at 70 pitches, and because high pitch count because of good at bats and some walks. You got to be able to conserve the load and be able to push through. So I know that's something I'm not worried about. It happens. I'm glad that we got the win of that day.
Hmm.
It was a good game for me personally, but an even better game for the team. Put up 12 runs and only gave up 2 out of 3, I believe. So I mean, that's a good game all around. You take that any day of the week, even if you have to sacrifice going 4 innings, 5 innings as a pitcher.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, I already see, if this gets clipped, people see that in the comments and be like, why are you talking like that? No, I'm not even saying anything like that because also, well, you had 7 strikeouts. First of all, the changeup was working. And we talked about this right after the game. I think it was their second hitter, maybe their leadoff hitter is the end of the second or third inning. You had 2 guys on and it was full count and you fooled him on a changeup. The bottom just fell out and he swung early. It was a swinging strikeout. Something about, I mean, you could tell on that pitch. I saw even on the broadcast, they replayed it. The way it rolled off your fingers. Was that just came natural to you in that game? Like, I mean, sometimes people see it, and I noticed, even Brody Breck in his first start, nerves hit him. He gave up a run. He gave up 2 runs, actually. What's going through your head just knowing that these big leverage situations, you got your team behind you, like it's your first time. So what's that like doing that?
I mean, honestly, being somebody who's very competitive, I'm very competitive in everything I do. I think you got to be the best in whatever you do to be the best in life. And one thing that helped me was my catcher, Colin Heineck.
Hmm.
Me and him, that's a battery you got to have. You got to have you and your catcher on a certain type of level of connection that you are confident in any at bat, any count that you will be able to get out of any situation. And I think if you look back to the third inning, it was 1 out. No, runner first and second. We just had the error by first baseman Luke Boyan, and I told him, I said, "I got you. Watch this."
Yeah.
Out
Yeah.
there, went out there. I struck the next guy out, and I gave a pat to my pat to my chest, connecting with my catcher, saying, "Me and you, let's go get the next guy." And that's all it takes for me to lock back in. When I'm pitching, I don't see anything else but me and that catcher. I don't see anything else but me, that catcher, and that batter. I don't see anything around me. I don't hear anything. And that's just something I, come to learn about myself. Usually early on, I didn't know what like it took to lock into a certain level. I just thought, you go on the mound, do your job, and get off the mound. But right, like going out there, it was just my team put the trust in me to be the Friday night dude. It takes
Hmm.
a lot of trust, and I know that a lot of people are looking. A lot of people are looking for you to fail. They don't want you to do great. So I mean, I just wore a chip on my shoulder, honestly, and I wear it every time I go out there. Honestly, I'll just do the same thing over and over again. But I told myself I wouldn't fail. I wouldn't let myself fail on a stage like that. Being Friday night, first game, we came out with a ton of energy. Offense came up, put up some runs. My defense had my back the whole game. And it was something I just used to drive me. So for one, I'd say me and my catcher being locked in, that's what I take to the biggest of importance, because when you and your catcher are locked in, you can't be stopped. When you were thinking as one, it's over. He's thinking what I'm thinking. Some of those changeups that were called, he knew what was coming. He knew where it was going to go. We knew what we needed in certain counts. And then, like I said, that third inning, that was kind of my inning that I think just I'll use for the rest of my college career. It showed me I'm good enough to do this. Back against the wall. first and second, one out, get a strikeout, get the next guy, blow him out on a fastball. I turned right into that other dugout and I screamed at the loudest I can right into that dugout. But I mean, it happens. College baseball, it's an environment like no other, I really think. So I mean, being locked in with your catcher and having that battery, it takes your confidence and your mental ability to a whole nother level of your game.
Of course. And I mean, you said it, the emotions there at the end of that inning, you turn around, you scream at the dugout. I mean, it fires you up. You go out there, you channel your emotions, and you drive it towards the plate with your pitches. The one thing that really helped me when I caught, and I don't know if your catcher does this with you, was I used to go out before every game, and I used to what I'd do with my pitcher, I would ask him, I would say, hey, what feels good today? What do you want to throw? Like, what do you want me to call? Like, it was like I let him call his own game.
And observe, and then you adjust during the game. I really think that that's what helps me a lot. So when Colin, we don't really like to talk too much on what a game plan is. We just go out there knowing we're going to have to attack. Pitch backwards sometimes, get ahead, stay ahead. That's the motto always. And those type of things, that is what leads us. We don't really do, asking what feels good or not. I usually let them know in the dugout after a couple innings, like, hey, I don't feel this pitch. I don't feel this pitch. Let's stick here. Let's predominantly throw this pitch. And that's what we do. So yeah, that's what we do. We stay simple. And I think simple is what helps us.
Perfect. I mean, yeah, it looked good. The fastball looked really good. You kept going back to the changeup, kept going back to the high heat. He knew when to call it. It worked all, it worked. You got a lot of swing and misses on it. I don't know the exact number. I didn't keep track and I didn't look. That's on. But
yeah, we got a lot of swing and misses on the heater. It's been it's been ticked up with the vertical right now. It's rising a lot, which is good. And then the changeup's playing directly off of it, being able to be a negative vertical pitch, and then not exactly a negative vertical pitch, but very good difference in the vertical. So one fastball will be at 22 vert, and the changeup will be at like 7 or 6, and it's a complete fall off the table. And then the horizontal runs probably like a negative 18, negative to 20 around that range. So I mean, we're just having fun right now, honestly, dude. Calling pitches that work, that we know are gonna work. And I think going into Seton Hall week, for me personally as a pitcher, biggest thing I'm trying to work on is dominating, just going out there, getting ahead, pounding the zone, making them hit me. At the end of the day, if you believe people that people can't hit you, then your pitchers will back it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was kind of gonna say. Starting my question, I was really gonna say, going into Seton Hall, big Northeast series this week. They're coming to you, so you get your first home start. Behind your fans, hopefully you get some family and friends come out and see that, because obviously that's huge for you. But like you said, you kind of started hinting at your game plan, but anything without sharing too much, anything else, what are you guys looking forward to this weekend to kind of get it done against the gritty Seton Hall team? Because they're not bad. They got some guys. I know some guys on that team that they can hit, and they'll give you a tough fight.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a guy looked around college baseball this past week to see what teams we're going to face are looking like, knowing that I'll have an opportunity to throw against a lot of them. And Seton Hall, they put up a decent amount of runs. I think they put up 11 in one of the games. I think they put up 8 in the next. So, I mean, they're looking like they can hit the ball, but, got to come into the bus lot, got to face me and my guys on our field. And I think we'll go into that series with a job that we're not losing again. We're not losing another series until conference. And I strongly will put money on that right now. Me and my boys are going to go in locked in no matter what. Everybody's going to do our job. It was a fluke week. It happens. We're going to flush it, get back to work tomorrow versus the Dogs, and then go into Seton Hall Friday looking with a killer mindset. So nothing in particular, really. We're going to scout them out tomorrow. I'm going to scout them out tomorrow after our game, do my scout with my pitch coach, see what he thinks the level of attack, the plan of attack should be, and go off that. But as of right now, we're just going into it every game, day by day, with a killer mindset, ready to win a day, win an inning, win a pitch every time. Just stop. I think we got too ahead of ourselves this past weekend and didn't play where our feet were at.
And that happens. Obviously, it's the first week. Things happen. The mindset needs to change. Still, you guys need to refine everything. And it's the first games where you're playing against other squads as a team. That was your first series as a real team together, and not just inter squads. Now you really won as a team. You had that first weekend together, and you know what you guys need to do to keep going, improve. So yeah,
and we're ready for it. We're not. Nobody's shook. That bus ride home wasn't a quiet and silent one. We're not shook by it. A team like New Orleans, they had 40 wins last year. You expect them to come in and at least do something. We know that talent-wise, we're one of the best teams in the country. I promise you that. Talent-wise, we can put up with just about anybody, and that'll show in our play. Give us this next week, and we'll show everybody what's about. We're looking to have a 4-0 week, but like I said, we need to play where our feet are at and not be so caught up ahead. Me personally, I'm thinking towards Friday for Seton Hall because that's the next time I touch the bump. But I know my teammates are thinking Georgia get the dogs, and then we'll worry about Friday. But yeah, we're ready and locked in for the year. It's a long one. You can't let the first weekend get to you.
Of course. And I mean, hey, come out of this first weekend with positives. As a team, you guys went in there, you won your Friday start. That's what you're supposed to do. You go in there, and obviously against a team like New Orleans that had 40 wins last year, that Friday game's a tough game. Their guys do things that lead them to get 40 wins.
It's too early to worry about that for one, and then two, it's too many good teams that we're gonna have to run into within this next month and a half. Honestly, Seton Hall Friday, Georgia Tuesday, Seton Hall Friday, GT next Saturday, Western Carolina, who's got some good arms on their staff. They're 3-0 heading into the week. You can't worry about stuff. You got to put that stuff in the past and go get the next one. So that's what I think we're gonna do best after this week, and it'll show and play. If we're locked in and ready to go and let the game sit, then obviously the performance won't be as good. But if we let those games fly past us and forget them and know that the next game is just as important as the last, we'll be all right.
You guys got talented guys. I mean, you got Ty who pitched Sunday. He pitched good coming back after Tommy John, and then didn't get to pitch much last year. And then you got Max who came out of Rutgers. Like, you guys have guys and people don't know about them. And so, give it a couple weeks and your team will be on the mat. You guys will be right there in the mix with everyone, and people will realize this Georgia State team is good.
Yeah, and I think we got a lot of dudes that are going to make an impact if they didn't in the first week. Our pitching staff, I've said it and I'll say it again, we're easily going to have one of the best rotations in the Sun Belt. Ross Norman, the guy that came after me, the freshman, 6'6", up to 95, I think 96 actually in high school. Kid comes out in 40-degree weather, throwing it and just doing his job, and he doesn't care about the other factors. He worry about winning and getting the team a win, and that's why I love that kid, because I know he's whenever whether it's me on a Friday, him on a Friday, Ty on a Friday, anybody. We know Ross is going to go out there and give us his best shot whenever he gets the ball. Ty did his job. He did what he could do. A couple of things that we obviously need to fix, everybody as a whole, that we can't really dwell on now, but Todd did his thing. He didn't do terrible, didn't do the best that he wished. Obviously, a lot of us didn't do the best that we wished, but those are the first week flukes. You get them out and you get ready to go for the next one, because this upcoming week, we know Ty is facing an opponent that he's seen before. Yeah. Right? Seton Hall, he's faced them at St. John's. He's going to have a lot of fun with that. I think it's going to be his coming out party. One where he just goes and he dominates and shows everybody what he's about. Because exactly. I think a lot of people still are doubting, right? A lot of people still think this team isn't what we say we could be, right? We say we could be a 38-40 win team. I promise you we could when we get this thing going. When we get this thing going, I don't want to see anybody saying that we were false, or they want to hop on the bus now. You either hop on the bus now when we're 1 win in, or you hop on the bus when we're 40 wins in and we don't care about you. So I think this whole team is going to get going real soon. It'll show this week when we're back at the bus line and the balls are flying, and it'll be exciting. It'll be real exciting to watch from the dugout and on the mound.
Yeah. I mean, so with that being said, because that fired me up, we're gonna leave the motivation there for your team. Let's talk a little bit about, around the country, because just so many things to talk about. We'll start off. I mean, you give me your headlines and then I'll go off there, because I watched all weekend, but it's different because you got all your friends playing, and as a player, it's different.
Yeah, my headlines right now. A couple teams that made a statement this week. I'm going to give you 3 teams that made a big statement coming out and showing what they're about early and often. I think UNC came out and they showed what they're about. They went 3-0. They did it with some dominant wins, 20 runs in 2 games, I believe. So they showed what they're about, and they showed that they're a team in the ACC that's not to be reckoned with. There's a reason why they were ACC champs, and it's going to show. I think Duke is another one that came out and showed teams what they're really about, and they showed them that they have the Omaha built roster around them. They have a roster where they could take it as far as they want to.
Yeah.
It's not easy to go into a place like Coastal. We'll have to go into Coastal at the end of the year, and it won't be easy. But that's the true test of a dog. You really go in there and you crawl down and you let them beat you, or you go in there with your chest up ready to fight. And I think Duke went in there with the right mindset, right guys ready to go. My boy Andrew Healy went out, did his thing. Like you said, the guy that hit 3 home runs, that is ridiculous to do that in a game.
Yeah, as
Impressive
first
on his
collegiate
part.
game too.
Yeah, impressive on his part. And I feel like they're just a team that's slept on right now. But I think give it this next week, everybody's gonna realize Duke is automatically Omaha bitter that you have to be worried about. And then another team, I would have to say, I'm down to two right now in my head. Um, One's not a sleeper really. Wake Forest, you know what they're about. You know what they're gonna bring to the table with Burns, Hartle, and Massey on the bump every weekend. And
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun to watch. Even as a guy in college baseball, it's just fun to watch as a pitcher. See guys like that dominate and do their thing, especially
yeah.
a lefty like Josh Hartle. You don't come by guys that much often. But I think a team that people are sleeping on, I'm gonna have to go with hmm, hmm,
You're-
hmm, Indiana. Indiana's a real sleeper team right now. Coming out of the north, they're definitely slept on, but they held their own versus Coastal. They held their own in that whole game, in that whole weekend, this whole weekend. And I
Yeah,
feel like they're one of those teams that you really never expect, honestly. But you also have to always be creepy about because where they come from in that region, right? They're going to play in a regional that's probably not the strongest. They won't play in the strongest of regionals, and they also will play in a conference tournament where they could easily win it if they do the right things.
yeah.
They have 3 teams to worry about really up there: Iowa, maybe Michigan if Michigan decides to play well,
Well,
and
like
Ohio
Maryland,
State,
yeah,
Maryland, maybe Maryland in a good year, Rutgers in a good year. So I mean,
oh,
they got some teams to worry about, but I feel like they're at the top of the top in that conference, and they showed it this weekend for sure, going out there and playing like how they did.
yeah. Indiana was scary. I watched. I think their first game. Their first game was against Duke, and they fought that entire game against Santucci. They kept it close. Obviously, I mean it was a pitcher's duel. The first game they had, forget who they had on the mound, but it was someone who wasn't typically a starter, and he went out there threw 3 or 4 innings, shutout ball, and then Duke started to get to their bullpen a little bit, which kind of got me worried. And they pulled right back in the game. And Duke's another team that, I had the same thoughts that you do about them, where they came out this week and there was doubts about them. They lost a lot of players. They only returned 2 position players from their starters last year. And they went out and dominated this weekend. I mean, they put up 20 something against George Mason. I think 26. They put up 18 or something on Coastal yesterday. Like they dominated Coastal and they beat Indiana, who's now, another ranked team. So, yeah, I mean, Duke's great. Like you said, Wake Forest. I've been high on Wake Forest for the last year and a half. Y'all know my relationship with Brock Wilken. It's my guy. Love him. And he was great last year there. This team lost 2 of their best guys, 3 of their best guys, and got better. So, I mean, I don't understand how people sleep on them still. And then,
I think right now Wake Forest is the favorite. They're just it's hard to go against that rotation.
yeah,
But in
I think,
terms of arms, man, I think that the conference, the country this year is having a premium of arms right now, and it's crazy to see a lot of guys coming out like they did. Kay Fisher, my boy at Florida, one of my
yeah,
East Cobb dogs. When I was playing with Cade was probably he'll tell you he's probably 89, 91, touching a 2 or 3. Kid went out there this week, was up to a 98, slinging it, and he's going to be a dog. I mean, the outcome wasn't what he wanted, but it's just encouraging to see a guy like that go out there on a Friday night when he wasn't a Friday night, wasn't a starter for much last year, and he goes out there on a Friday night and does his job to the best of his abilities. It may not have gone his way, but that's something that I feel like he's going to improve on week in and week out, especially with a coach like O'Sullivan. He's going to make sure he's right, and he's going to keep him right and get him ready to go because they're going to make another push to Omaha. And then
yeah,
another team, another arm that I'm really high on right now would probably have to be Josh Hartle. Like I said,
yeah.
I feel like he's pushing to be pitcher of the year or Cam Leiter. Josh Hartle or Cam Leiter right now. Leiter is
That's what I was
a
about to
guy
say.
that you know
Yeah.
he just goes out there, does what he does, and you don't go out there and put up that many strikeouts in 5 innings like you did.
Yeah.
Made it look easy.
I was about to say, I mean, I think the one pitcher performance of the week that we have to talk about as a pitcher for you, and then specifically just for me watching, was Leiter. I mean, that was elite. And I mentioned in the video yesterday before I even saw that. I think it was I made it on Saturday morning, so I saw Brody Brecht's performance because I watched that game live. So I was dialed in. I mean, that was beautiful. He put up 11 strikeouts in 5 innings too. Don't get me wrong, both of them are studs. And then I looked at my phone right after, and I saw Leiter had 13 and then gave up one hit, and I was like, shit, this is nice. And then you had out in Arizona, shout out Jackson Kent, Friday starter, who they lost their Friday starter. Aiden May went to Oregon State, which, first of all, talk about Oregon State later, because I think they're going to play Wake Forest in that College World Series at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, they got two premium bats in the lineup, starting my boy Gavin Turley. Turley's a dog. He's just somebody that puts the swing on the ball, and you're expecting to go 415 feet, if not further, probably further, honestly. So kid's a dog, and then they just got a lineup that could be built. They got a lineup that could be built to go to that is built to go to Omaha.
Yeah,
They got power, they got speed, they got contact mixed in the bottom of it. I think they're ready to make a push, especially coming out of that west side. And it'll be fun to watch the whole country just go at it this year. I feel like a lot of conferences are going to come down to a knot with the performance on a lot of different teams, especially with the portal, the way it played out this year.
yeah.
Guys ended up, in the SEC, Tennessee. They've got my boys. They got Cannon, and they got Billy Amick now. So I mean, it's crazy to see where all these portal guys are ending up and
Yeah,
how these teams panned out over this first week. And it's only the first week, right?
yeah.
College baseball is really exciting this week, especially as a player to watch. Because you obviously have to focus on your own, but
Yeah.
you love to look around the whole dynamic of it and see everybody performing at the highest of levels, especially when it's some of your friends. And that leads back to what I was saying about pitchers I slept on. And I feel ashamed of myself for not even bringing this guy up. But Roman Kimball is going to be a top 3 rounder in this draft, if anybody didn't know. Roman Kimball is easily one of the biggest dogs I've ever watched on the mound. And he literally goes out there and hangs his nuts like they are 8 feet long and he's only 5'7". This kid goes out there, sits 94, 95, touches sixes, throws a banker, throws a slider, throws a changeup when he wants to. Kid's going to be really good. His first weekend out this week after 609 days of Tommy John, goes out, goes 2 innings, 5 Ks. Now, people may say 2 innings. Oh, my God. No, 2 innings it's not crazy right now with the way pitch counts are set up. People don't realize pitch counts are a real thing. If you don't really play baseball, you wouldn't know, but pitch counts are a real thing in the first week. It's dangerous to throw your pitchers out there and let them throw 90, 100 pitches in the first week when they got, you got 15 more weeks of playing before playoffs even get here. So I think Roman Kimball right now is just a dude, and I feel like he's going to make a tremendous, tremendous leap at Carolina this year. That pushes him up to, the top 3 round talk.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm ashamed of myself for not mentioning it either. Roman, I've had Roman on it twice. Yeah, I've had Roman on once or twice. He'll be on this. He will. I completely name flew out of my head completely. I saw that he threw yesterday. Roman, if you're watching this, big shout out. Props to you. Everything. I mean, everything so inspiring about that story. Come
dude
back.
a dude that I lived with for a year and a half, dude. I got to see hand in hand what work ethic was. That he taught me a lot about work ethic. A lot of the work ethic that I got now, he showed me without even telling me how to do it. He would just go. You'd watch him be dedicated to his craft, dedicated to what he was doing on and off the field. So I mean, people who watch him and just think he's doing this on the baseball field, and it's just this kid is an everyday worker, a grinder, goes at every day with 110% because he knows, right? Roman knows that a lot of people don't believe in him, right? A 5'7" kid going on the mound, you don't expect him to go out there and sit 96, especially coming off of TJ. Nobody expects him to do well. Kid went out there in front of the fans at Founders and did his thing like we all expected he would. And I think his rotation, his spot in the rotation is just going to keep going up on the tick. No offense to my boy Eli Jones at Carolina. He's a dog as well. But I think him and Roman will end up competing for that spot heavily. And I think either way, it'll turn out really well for Carolina. And I can't wait to see those boys when we face them in Augusta. I can't wait to see my guys. I haven't seen them in a minute. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, that's another team. So it's another sleeper team right there. You got Ethan Petrie. I'd say he's a top 10 player in college baseball. The way he swings that bat. And they got a top 10 rotation too. They're up there. They're up there with one of the best teams.
I think Ethan Petrie is easily top 5 hitter in college baseball right now. That's mentor, and that's just to mention him off his swings. But the kid, as a person, I've met Ethan multiple times. Really cool dude to talk to, funny as heck. I think that whole Carolina roster is just one of the most charismatic teams you ever will see. Like, just watch Roman's vlogs and watch what they're doing on the field.
Yeah.
It is hilarious to watch. So, I mean, a team like us at Georgia State, when we have a lot of fun in the dugouts on the field, I think it's going to be a funny game, a really high intensity game that's going to end up being funny when you see some of the things going on in our dugouts when we play him up in Augusta.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch for sure. I mean, they're a good team. Your guys are a good team. That'll be a good game. It'll be fun too because just that it's just gonna happen. You know that something's gonna go down in that game, and it's just gonna be all jokes. It's gonna be funny, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready for it. That's gonna be a good series for you guys too. I mean, well, and I'm sure we'll have some of those guys on throughout the season at some point. Roman, maybe even Ethan at some point if he's not too busy. I know he got a lot going on though. I've talked to him a couple times, tried to get him on, but. I mean, what else is there? Let's wrap this up on a couple good notes and then trying to think because there's a couple other big headlines this
There's
weekend.
a couple big headlines headed out. It's hard to think of on the spot because college baseball was huge this week. It
Yeah.
was crazy to see everything. Kind of was overwhelming for me, honestly, being a guy this first year of Division One ball. I'm trying to soak it in myself, but I'm also trying to catch up with all my guys doing well, performing well. Shout out to my boy RJ Austin at Vanderbilt, did
Oh,
his thing this week.
exactly.
Got them 2 out
Yeah.
of 3. Did his thing per usual. Kid's always going to perform. Jaden Hilton at Stetson did his thing. Clutch hit at Stetson this past weekend. And my boy Durangelo at Mississippi State did his thing. Always, he's going to get on the mound and be a dog from both sides. And that's just cool to see some of your guys that you're real close with, perform. And that's what you love to see, because a lot of guys doubt themselves after, the drafts and, they don't think they may not pan out, but to see them go out there, perform up to their capabilities, you love to see it.
Yeah. And so, all right, so that's perfect. That you got yourself some shout outs. I'm gonna ring off some of mine because I got some of my guys that did some great things this weekend. First off, out of Arizona, shout out Brendan. 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, 3 doubles yesterday, and a big win. And then, leading off, first of all, after not playing a lot last year, sitting behind Chase Davis, great player, obviously, great guy too, to come in, take that leadoff spot, fire your team up, get the game started every day, that's huge. And you're doing a great job. Shout out Brendan. That's my guy. We're gonna have him on probably maybe in the next 2 weeks or so. He wants to come on more than anything. He's talks to me every day about it. So shout out to you. Shout out Mason DeVille. Um More praise than oh my god, I love this guy so much. And I'll talk about this guy for so long. One of my first guests also, him and Brendan were two of my first like connections in this scene. And after what happened with him last year, committed to Arkansas, barely playing, I didn't get to see much, struggled to find time on the field, and then transferred to Oregon and to thrive. First game was hard. He did I think he had a fielder's choice and he was upset about it. We talked about it after, and then second game, RBI double broke the game open for Oregon, and it was huge for him. And the conversation we had after, I mean, he was fired up about it. It was great to see, after everything he's been through. Shout out to Mace. Keep doing your thing. And last, let me think. Oh, you know what? Last shout out goes to Ross Shalowski out at UCLA, dude. You were doing some crazy things on Friday night. I saw you were 3 for 3, your first 3 at bats, had a triple, a double, or something. Like, I wasn't even watching, and then I saw your stat line, and I turned the game on just to watch you. And then I did it again on Saturday. So shout out, you caught my attention. Obviously, I knew you were one of the top freshmen going into this year, but everything you're doing right now, keep putting college baseball on the map. Same with Trent Caraway. Had to give you some props in there. Had a couple home runs this weekend for Oregon State, and then I think that's it.
Yeah, a lot of names that we're probably missing. A lot of names that I know personally that I've seen. A lot of my friends, proud of all of them. Shout out all of those dogs that have texted me. I appreciate the love. I'm sending the love right back. I'm proud to see a lot of guys performing at the levels that they are. It's not hard to perform at the Division I level. I want people to know that even if you are talented, it's still not the easiest thing to go out there and do it. And to see some of these guys going 2 for 3s in their first games, 3 for 3s on the next day, it's crazy. I love to see it. And I'm really excited for college baseball this year. I feel like it'll be one of the best ones yet.
Yeah, I mean, this season there's so much to come. And then just like you said, shout out to all the guys. I'm sure there's so many guys that I've missed. Obviously, I know. Shout out my guys over at Quinnipiac at my school. I know y'all lost all three games this weekend, but like y'all fought Sunday. It was tough. Y'all lost a couple of guys to injury. Obviously, it sucks. It's terrible to happen. First two games of the season, you lose two of your starters for majority of the year. It sucks. Broken
Yeah,
ham.
major shout out actually two of my boys, Jace Lafayette at Texas A&M, going stupid, starting the year the right way per usual. Kid has some of the most juice you'll ever see in a prospect, and he's hilarious. My boy Dakota Jordan at Mississippi State, always going crazy. Bassa been swinging the bat well since the summer ball days when he used to go 400 dead center off the Astros. I mean, kid's a dog. My boy Dylan Cup at Mississippi State, another East Coast boy. Love to see him balling out. It's crazy to see all these dudes that I played with or come around doing so well now. I love to see it. I love to see it.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, who else got in? Boston got in this weekend.
Yeah, Boston Flannery, one of the best freshmen in the country, obviously. Real talented arm. Gonna be something real special when he gets to his draft year. I think he'll easily be a top 2-3 rounder if projection wise goes right, which it should. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of guys, a lot of names right now that are going crazy, and it's great to see because it's only gonna get better.
Yeah, and then so that's the baseball end of it. Now, on the content end of it, from us, this is what you guys are gonna get. We're gonna sit down for however long it was. It was probably about an hour. Sat down.
What we want to do is we want to get some other guys that are performing in college baseball on it, and something I'm going to personally be doing, because I do have some of the platform to do so. I'm going to reach out to some of those top guys that are performing. Say maybe a Cam Cannarella from Clemson, shout out to my dog, or maybe like a Jace Lafayette from Texas A&M, or a big time pitcher that had a good out, and say Roman goes out there this week as he should and have another great outing. We'll hop on. Me and him will be down what he saw, what he thinks worked, what he's going to improve on. Like, it's just good to get in depth with baseball. I feel like it's always something you could talk about in this sport. And I'm excited. I feel like a lot of guys, different guys are going to come on here, whether it be pro ball or college. We're going to get them to sit down, talk, have fun, relax, and take an hour of their time just to break down what they think is going on in college baseball and how they're feeling.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. I mean, y'all know I don't do anything half-ass, and Rob doesn't either. I mean, this has been in the works. We talked about this day one. I said I was looking for a player with personality, charisma to help me co-host, and instantly, I mean, it from the start, you were all in, and obviously the only thing we work around was schedule. But we're here. This is going to be something that's here to stay for a little bit at least. We're going to see how this goes, but college baseball, the media attention on it is nowhere near where it should be. And we're going to change that. We're going to start to change that little by little. We're going to get some of these top guys to come on, give them a platform, give them a place for people to find them at, because college baseball is probably one of the best sports out, period, right now. Most entertaining thing to watch. Who doesn't want to watch Jace Laviolette hit 4 home runs in 3 games? Who doesn't want to watch Brody Brecht shove, throw 98 for 5 innings and strike out 11 guys? Who doesn't want to see Vanderbilt and FAU every day go at it in a close game that ended up in what? 2 1-run games, walk off, and another 1-run game that they almost came back and walked off again. I mean, like we're saying, college baseball is in full swing. It's amazing to see what's going on. It's action packed and everything. You guys don't want to miss what's going to happen here. We're going to have the top guys come on weekly, just break everything down, give us what they think, and be guys.
And in terms of the next episode, it'll probably be an episode with one of my close friends, Jaden Woods with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's going to come on. He's just going to talk about some things. I really want to break down with him the difference in college ball and pro ball, because a lot of guys, question it. They want to see the true difference in what it may be between being a Friday night starter in college and what it may be being a, top of the line rotation guy in pro ball. And I want them to break it down. He's going to come on and break it down. I have him, and I'll try to see if we can get another guy to hop in, maybe a top college arm, college bat, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun with this series. Once a week, we're gonna sit down, talk baseball, talk a lot of different things, and I think the next episode I'll be going live on Instagram while it's happening. So if anybody does want to hop on, ask some questions, obviously that'll be okay with it.
With that being said, I told you guys, we're going to take an hour, we're going to chop it up, and it's going to be like it never happened. Y'all going to listen to this. You're going to hear everything you need to know about college baseball, and you're going to look at your phone and be like, damn, it was an hour. So easy. Great to have you. Great to start this. Let's make this a thing. every
Yes,
week.
sir.
We'll
Yes,
see you
sir.
guys next week.
Real fun.
And let's go. Let's take a dub on Friday against Seton Hall, baby.
Yes, sir. We'll do it. We'll be back in tune next week to talk about it. Hoping for good things. Should be good things. Gonna do the best that we can as a team, as a pitcher right now, and we'll go day by day. Really, that's all we gotta do.
Perfect.